Okay, we're gonna say it's 6:30. So it's about 6:30 on Tuesday, December 9th. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Woodstock Village Board of Trustees. There was a request from someone here that we all introduce ourselves, which I think is a really great idea. My name is Seton McElroy, and I'm the chair of the Village Trustees.
I am Brenda Blakeman, and I'm just a trustee.
Not just.
Yeah, Lisa Lawler, trustee.
Free County the vice chair.
Right, recording, trustee. Eric Duffy, municipal manager.
First item on the agenda is additions and deletions to the posted agenda. Eric, you want a
I
couple?
have a few. One, I would like to get rid of the executive session concerning the library parking lots.
Okay.
I don't have an update on that. We had conversations, but there's really no update for the trustees.
Okay.
I would like to add an executive session though,
Okay.
about personnel concerns or issues. And the chair has a language for that.
Okay, thank you.
I would also like to just make an amendment to the parking ordinance schedule of fees, the new documents on the table. It's the same fee structure. I just take out language at the bottom of the one that's in the packet. So the trustees can vote on a clean version tonight if you so choose.
Okay.
But for members of the public, it's the same fee schedule that was in the booklet. We're just kind of editing to make it a clean version.
Okay. So, trustees, do you have any other additions or deletions? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I would like to remove the discussion around the municipal permit discussion.
Okay.
It's not ready yet. Let me just take it off this time.
Okay, got it. Okay, anything else, trustees? Okay. In that case, the next item on the agenda is citizen comments, and there's a 3-minute limit. Does anybody in the room have any citizen comments? Oh, come on up.
Come on.
And give us your name and tell us where you're
I
from.
know the drill.
Just for everybody else, hold on. I've got it set for an hour. That's too long. And
So Susie Sells Woodstock. We, as the protesters, we recently celebrated our 300th consecutive day. So thank you very much. We want to thank especially Brenda for the continued support. She has to deal with us every single day, and she's incredibly gracious about it. We appreciated that so much. And then we have a slight request. You know how you plow the sidewalk and we need to keep off the sidewalk? Wondering if you could additionally, could you come through plow like another foot so we can stand off the sidewalk?
Eric?
Onto the park?
Yeah.
Are the trustees okay with us plowing part of the park grass?
There's no more grass where we stand.
Snow blowing.
Yeah,
Yeah, if that's okay, we'll look into
It's
it.
no blowing
Yeah.
grass on the grass.
Yeah, that's fine. So the plowing didn't sound right.
Thank you.
Yeah, get the big plow out there. State trucks.
So if there's an issue, I'll reach out and we can talk here, please.
okay. Any other public comments? Oh, come on up and tell us who you are.
Hi, Roger Logan, Woodstock Village. I just wanted to give some kudos to both boards. I wasn't at the last joint meeting, and I was very impressed when I watched it online by the professionalism and the care and the forethoughtfulness that you all used in setting the goals and looking at how to organize things. I also just want to say to Eric and his staff and the assessors, we had our assessment today, which I'm sure is very nerve-wracking for all concerned, including me. But the gentleman who came was polite, answered my questions in and out, and for a nerve-wracking process, it's going about as smoothly as I can imagine it would go. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Any other public comments in the room? Oh, come on up. Give us your name, please.
Charlotte Hollingsworth. I'm usually not here, but some of our group, and if you would stand from our fellow tribute protesters, we are here to support you and Eric, and just want you to know we're with you, and we just feel bad how things have come about, and we're here to support you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Before we get started, I'm just here to thank you all for the work you do.
Thank
Much
you,
appreciation.
Thank you, Al.
thank you.
And thanks to you too. It was cold today. Are there any other citizen comments in the room? Any citizen comments online? Okay. In that case, we will move on to the reports. First one is the manager's report. Eric?
Yeah, so one thing I want to be clear on, in terms, he's not here tonight, he has training, that he's doing today and tomorrow, so he cannot make it, but he sends on his regards. So the first thing I'll still hit thunder, he was awarded, or the department was awarded a $15,000 grant, from the Burn Foundation, to go towards the new body cameras and cruise,
1,500?
15,000.
Okay.
To the body cameras and the car cameras. As we know, it's about a $21,000 cost, so this really helps alleviate some of the pressure on taxpayers. So look for those $6,000, but we're excited to have this money and help update our technology. On that, the chair asked earlier today to me, the parking with the courthouse has been extended through February 2026. So originally it was a 1-year contract, and we've extended it through February. Same terms as before. So again, it's extra revenue for the village to work with this year. So that's exciting as well.
And they think they're gonna be definitely done in February.
They're going to be definitely done in September, so
Okay.
we'll see what happens. But I believe some people are already moving back to White River, so hopefully, for their sake, they'll be gone by then.
Okay.
What else?
Is the police car here yet? The infamous police
It
car.
is not yet. We're still waiting. Right? Is that correct, Michelle, right?
We'll be here Thursday.
Ah,
We've heard that before. Hopefully it's here Thursday. That'll be, we show it off at Wausau hopefully.
The big red bow on it.
Yes. Wausau this weekend, I think I'm updated on the agenda. The Wausau thing this weekend, so we're all excited for that. I think Pentago's gonna do a great job up here and the weather looks okay so far. Our public works crew is fingers crossed that they don't have to do any major work between now and Saturday, but they're prepared to do it if they need to. So we'll look on them to kind of see what the weather's gonna be like the next few days, and if we have to do snow removal in the village or not, or with the help on the green like we had in the years past, to make sure the vendors can set up, we'll be ready for that as well.
One point I could make, Eric, regarding what you just said about in the village. You know, the berms, they're low, but they're icy.
Mhm.
People are struggling.
Okay,
Some people, certain ages are really struggling with that. And if we get any more snow on top of it, I think they need to be removed. And, you know, I think that, I've been told that down at the wastewater treatment plant, we have a skid steer.
we do.
Okay, that could come up to, if that could come up to the village, that could take them out whenever these things occur, instead of waiting until it turns to ice.
Okay,
And we could get rid of that problem this year, because last year was a big problem.
it was, I agree, yes. Okay, I'll talk to Greg.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
And then last thing, we have a new employee starting on Monday. We're kind of in a hybrid section of highway, village, public works, so they're gonna be down in the village starting off, and working with Nate down there. So this is the first time we're gonna be fully staffed in public works, probably in the last year and a half to 2 years. So we're excited for that. It's a local person from South Woodstock. So hopeful that'll work out, and we'll see how it goes from there. That is all I have for my updates.
Okay, any questions, trustees? For Eric? Okay, financial report?
So you have the financial report in front of you, as always, the caveats, we're looking at revenue on, parking, we're reconciled through August, so we're still kind of behind, there. But as you know from the report from Michelle, we've had probably our best year in a long time with parking, so it's just a matter of catching up. And on our internal, and so we'll have that soon. But at the end of the report, Expenses about 39% total expended all over the year, and we're almost halfway through the year. So we're in a pretty good location financially for the rest of the year. But I know Jeffrey has some questions, so I'll turn it over to Jeffrey and we'll go from there.
Just a few. First one.
I have some guesses. Let's see if I was correct. We went through it today to see which one you'd ask, so.
Okay, so police revenue. You know, the town services,
Yep,
we've received 0 and we're, 41.6% through the year.
it's just internal transfer we have to do. It's, so you have the contract, they agreed to pay month by month. We just haven't done the transfer over. Robert thinks gonna do it this month to kind of save journal entry each month. Just do one journal entry in December, one journal entry in June for the 12 months. So the money will be there. You have not got the money. It's just a internal transfer we do.
Okay, well, that'll be good to be drawn up to date. My second question, miscellaneous revenue. We anticipated about $4,000. We've got over 20,000. And
Yep, so that just, I knew you were gonna ask this one, so this is just money that was not coded correctly. So we used to go through and do journal entry to move it back to where it should be. So it's just when people put in the system, they put the wrong code in. And so some of those are parking fines and parking revenue that will go back over there.
Okay. And lastly, we received the tax income in early November, still at 0 on our report.
Same thing, it's just like it's just a journal entry we need to do. So each year, the way we do it is the village gets their full tax amounts moved in there. So you'll have that number whenever we do the transfer.
Whatever's been paid in November.
Yeah, but so not to get too far in the weeds, but the village is set up there, you get your full tax amount automatically transferred in. So the way we collect it as a bulk sum, then we just transfer and move the money over.
Okay. Thank you, Eric.
And that's good. I just want you to know, as of last week, we collected 97% of the taxes that were due in November. Which is about 3 to 4% higher than normal. We also received roughly 430 change of address forms. So a mass problem we've had in the past is addresses go to the wrong place. So we've asked people to, we're pushing people to change their addresses. So we have that as well. So hopefully that'll allow us to collect more on time in the future. And so I want to thank Robert, Ashley, and
Okay, anything else on the financial report? No?
No.
Okay, police report, I guess that's just the parking that we've got. I saw the parking things in here.
But what's the problem with Park Mobile system being down? So we don't know what Park Mobile did.
Got the numbers.
Okay.
Oh, do you wanna come on up?
She hates that.
Please.
Just give it to them.
Okay. Oh, okay. So the total for last month was $12,505. So what we're missing for Park Mobile is $6,616.25. So that puts us a little bit higher than we were,
We're behind.
a little behind November, but about the same as 2023. But October was ahead, I think, so
I believe so, yes.
thank you. And then we got that report from Chris O'Keefe that had the list of everything this.
Oh, yes,
they've
yes.
been
So
busy.
the trustees and select board got a quarter report from the police department sent over, I think, last week. We're going to try to find out into the public. We're currently, much to maybe Roger's chagrin, updating the police website. So we'll have a new website pretty soon, and so we'll have a better way to communicate that's out as well.
Lots of numbers, Roger, lots of numbers. I know, we all do. Anything else on the police trustees? Okay, next we're moving on to votes. The first vote is event permits for Woodstock 2026. And so we've got John Spector on the phone.
I'm not,
John.
can you hear me?
Let's go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's worse for you to look at that horrible picture or for me to look at this horrible angle on the live live video. But I'll stick with this. I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of, actually, I have no idea where I am, but I'm in a parking lot. I don't know if
Find him
Sorry,
on
say-
Google.
We've agreed to come back after we had resolved some questions, and we have a couple of additional requests. So I don't know if you wanted me to summarize it. I thought it was pretty straightforward, but if you'd like me to summarize our requests, I can.
Yeah, let's just go point by point.
Okay.
Do you have
The
any
first,
questions at all?
yeah, I do. So the first point is basically we have an arrangement with the chamber to handle, we're going to cover about the equivalent of 30 10 by 10 tents. That would be in 3 large tents. So we'll cover about 3,000 square feet of the green. And the remainder, we ask the chamber to handle music, food vendors, meaning not grocery, but, you know, serving people coming onto the green with prepared foods and other crafts and so forth. And I know Jeffrey and I spoke today. He has a question or concern about the crafts, but otherwise from a responsibility point of view, you should view Bookstock as the contractor. We're sort of subcontracting with them, and we're working out with our insurance company, and it's really a single user and a single permit. We will take responsibility for everything that happens on the green.
Okay, so that clarifies the first one. So so that's how it's gonna work with the chamber, and then, right now you
We're,
go ahead.
oh, sorry, just to clarify, we're simply going to ask them to manage the process of bringing additional 10 by 10 tent purveyors. We're going to put 3 big tents on the green, one for the book sale and 2 for the children's tent. Those collectively will take up what 30 10 by 10 tents would take up. So, you know, it's half of the green. Or they will bring music. They'll bring, I'm imagining, 2 or 3 prepared food vendors, and then we will direct to them people literary vendors, if you will, authors ideally, or maybe craftspeople who make things out of books related things, who have contacted us and asked to display at Bookstock, and we will pass those on to the chamber. We don't want to be managing. The chamber gets the revenue. They decide who they want to take. We will just pass on the inquiries to them, and they may go and recruit other vendors that they would like to do. We're not very good at the physical process of getting them loaded in the morning, reserving the parking spaces, setting up their tents, collecting the money. It was a huge task for us last year, and we weren't very good at it, which is why we're asking the chamber to do that. And Jeffrey has a concern about the types of vendors. I'll let him explain that.
John, this is Eric. So will the insurance still fall under Bookstock and you'll cover the chamber, or are you asking the chamber to get their own permit and their own insurance?
The former.
Okay.
So, yeah, so one of the problems here, John, that I perceive is that this is like, okay, then the chamber can do what they want, what we're saying, Bookstock say. And I think the chamber, that needs to be excluded from this permit tonight. And the chamber needs to come before us to say what they would like to do on the green, which we can say is great or not good. And I think that part, since you're saying you're gonna have the chamber, but you're also saying we're not gonna control what the chamber does, you need to have the chamber come before us. That needs to come out of this part of it.
So, Jeffrey, I think some of my points, or the questions you asked John, and I could be wrong here, John, so correct me if I'm wrong. It's gonna be Bookstock's permits. So you're agreeing with Bookstock and what they have on the green. So I think the conversation with what you want the chamber to do can be agreement between you and Bookstock, not the chamber. It's almost like they're.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be fine. Bookstock
Yeah,
would agree.
sorry. Yeah, just to be clear, I agree with Eric. And so we will, if there are any constraints on what besides, presumably you're comfortable with the Bookstock tents, the food and the music. If there's any, and literary and authors basically selling their books. If any constraints you want to apply beyond those, what I assume would be approved activities, we're happy to enforce that. We would rather not have the constraints, but if there are any, we will enforce them.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would like to see it us approve something that you just said that you have control over. Everything that has to do with literary, music, crafts that have to do with literary, it's book stock. It's not a craft thing. And so, yeah, so the constraint would be that beyond those items that you list, music, food, literary related crafts, that's all that I would like to see approved tonight. Otherwise, I think we need to speak to the chamber separately. But if you can control that, then fine, I'm fine with it. With that understanding.
Right, well, yeah. I guess Jeff and I discussed this, and he has that point of view. If I just would just like to check, we would like to have the freedom to bring other people, including craftspeople, only to fill up the green. But as I told Jeff, this is not a make or break issue for us. And whether you decide to not put any constraints on who can be there, or the constraints that Jeff just described, we'll be able to handle it. And we will enforce it, even whether it's us or the chamber that's actually managing the people coming on. So you will get whatever constraints you put on us tonight, you're putting them on Bookstock, and we will approve those. We will manage those constraints. But we would like to be able to bring on crafts vendors if we need it. We're going to recruit literary folks to start, but if we don't fill it up and we think we can get more to make it a bigger kind of event, or more services, so to speak, for local folks, then we would like to be able to do that. But again, as I said to Jeff when we talked earlier today, it's fine. If you all think that that's an appropriate constraint, we can live with that, and we will enforce it. So,
John, it's an enormous amount of tense and space and use for what's a wonderful literary event. And I'm all for that and everything that has to do with it.
yeah.
I think it's also a craft fair. And so I would like it to be approved with the constraints that it's literary oriented as well.
Right.
And so that's the constraints I would like our board to consider. Unless you want the chamber to appear separately.
Well, I don't think.
No. We want to avoid that for them, and it's easier for us to do it. It's no problem. And if you impose constraints, impose them on us.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I'm fine with, I mean, I would be interested to know who they're interested in. I don't know if there's chamber people. I mean, I always think that it makes it more interesting and you can broaden it so it bookmarks it. I like the literary concept, books, paper, whatever. But I would hate to, and I don't know if the best way to do that is to have you guys check in with us or what it is, but I'm fine with having extra things. I certainly think it adds. But I'd be interested to hear from the chamber or whoever you're working with.
Pretend, yeah. Let's think about. In order to make this process smoother, really, even with the chamber, assume that Bookstock is approving all of the people that will appear on green. I think that makes it easier. We will approve. We will follow whatever direction you give us with respect to that. I mean, I assume we can agree on the Bookstock tents, the food, and the music, right?
Yeah, no problem.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you guys just need to decide. Jeffrey's made a proposal. It's not unreasonable. We would prefer not to do that, but we'll do it if you want. We'll be fine either way. We have a preference. I'm just stating the preference. You need to just decide what you want to do.
You know, I want to clarify one thing. Before Frank speaks, I want to clarify one thing. This is happening mid-May. You know, having been in business a long time in Woodstock, speaking for the entire retail community in Woodstock, which I have a pretty good handle on knowing when we're busy and when we need business. You're talking about January to mid-May is our slowest time of the year. And then you're taking a weekend and having this event on the green, which will draw a lot of people to the green, and that's wonderful. I think that's appropriate. But then to add something totally separate, just to make more things up in the chamber in terms of competition to the retailers in the village, to me is not part of what Bookstock should be about.
So
That's why I think that constraint is appropriate.
Okay, Frank.
Hi, Lisa, I'm not ready yet.
Okay.
I think there's plenty of time to continue to talk about it. I think we're kind of right here. It's the, I feel like tossing it back to you, Frank. I think at this moment, if Bookstock works with us and tells us the information and answers any questions we have, then I think it's okay. And for now, just having oversight over it seems to work okay for me.
I guess for the moment, I agree with Lisa. I think it would be appropriate if closer towards time, we knew exactly what the plan was.
But then we have say over the plan.
Well, they're wanting to have, he's wanting to take full responsibility of what the plan is. I think closer towards time, so they've got everything situated, that they should then come back to us and let us know what the plan is, and then we can tell them how we feel about that.
As opposed to telling them tonight. Huh?
Right.
Well, we can approve
Yep.
everything and
Yep.
then say,
Mhm.
if you want to add,
Mhm.
fine.
That's what I was gonna think, when we approve it, but.
Right.
With literary vendors of some sort, paper typewriters, I don't know.
And if we want to go beyond, if we want to go beyond that, we have to come back to, in other words, approve the permit for the things that you agree on. If we want to go beyond that, which we can determine. I mean, if we don't get any applicants, you have to come back to you. If we do, and we decide we want to press our case, then we will come back to you for approval. Otherwise, we won't do it.
I'm okay with that too.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Oh,
right.
yeah. There's a question. Yeah, come on up, please, and give us your name.
name is Jody Natale, I live in the village. I'm wondering, it sounds to me like the concern is, or maybe the thought is that the people go to Woodstock or Bookstock are gonna concentrate strictly on the green and not shop around the rest of the town. Because it sounds, in my experience of being here, when they get an influx of people, they don't just stay in the green. They go buy food other places, they go buy other things other places. So I'm curious as what the concern is. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so we've got that. So you also are out.
Answer the question. I thought I posed the question, did I not? Is it concern that the people that come to Woodstock will stay strictly on the green and not consider the fact that they right top all around town?
I think that my concern is that this is a literary festival. And it's turning into two different kinds potentially without any, like, saying, okay, it's an open thing, we don't know what's going to be there. And so I think what I've heard is that this board will say tonight that it's just the literary festival, we're approving with everything that he said here, including music and food. But that any other changes to that, they have to come back to us. And we'll consider
But
that.
excuse me, Jeff, it is a
Okay.
literary festival.
I think we've got comments from both sides. It's not a back and forth, but I think we've got comments from both sides.
Okay, should I go on to the next?
Yeah. I mean, did you have another point to make? Because we're not gonna do questions back and forth.
Do,
He- Point, you've made your point, unless you have another specific point to make. Agreeing, disagreeing, whatever.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. So John, you've also asked that you're gonna do the big 80 by 30 tent, and it's gonna be set up a little differently than it was last year?
yes, well, it's the shape of, well, before we skipped over, the second item is the time to put up the tents and not. It turns out that actual, what I'm going to call an actual tent company, as opposed to the company that rented what they called tents last year, is in demand. And so they have, like, big graduation ceremonies and so forth. And they don't know that they can come and put them in Thursday and take them down Monday morning. Actually, last time we got them down Sunday night. So they've asked for a couple of days on either end to be able to schedule the installation of the tents. we will not put anything in the tents until Friday morning. And we will have everything out of the tents by Sunday, well, certainly by Sunday at 5. So, and we can leave the tents open, the sides open, and everything will be, open. But we're asking if we can have that permission. We don't know what we don't have a permit. You normally, if the permit is from Friday to Sunday, we're allowed to use Thursday and Monday to put up and take down the tents. But I think we're going to need another day on each end for the possibility that it will take that long. And perhaps this also relates to the next point about where one of the tents will be. The tent, the book sale tent last year was close to a square. It was 80 by 60. And the only way to put an 80 by 60 tent on the western half of the green is to have the center path go right through the middle of it. So if you remember, we then needed to keep that path open for 24/7. It was fine that it was open during the day, but then at night we needed to keep the ability, because you couldn't get around it, because 80 by 60, remember, we all wanted to make sure that people who were traveling from the east end to the west end of the green could do so. And it was not reasonable, say, for someone with a wheelchair or someone who, maybe had limited mobility. It was going to be pretty hard for them to get around that tent. And so we had to keep it open to be able to get through, or we had to redirect them with signs. It was complicated it was bad for the walkers and complicated for us. We're changing the shape of the tent. This year it will be 80 by 30. There's a space on the western end of the green that's probably 80 by 25. So what we'd like to do is to have the tent extend sort of to the far side of the path, but we're going to leave all the rest of the other half of the green wide open so that people will easily be able to walk from the east end to the west end. It's just when they come to our tent walking west, they'll just have to move over 5 or 6 feet and walk on the grass for the length of the tent and then come back onto the path at the other end. There won't be any obstruction. It's just otherwise we need like 130-foot tent by 20. It becomes it's not it's not the right shape. People won't be able to navigate inside the book sale. So I don't think, as a practical matter, it doesn't in any way inhibit transportation of walking or bicycles or whatever you would want to use to get from the east to the west end. It's just that you'll have to walk for a brief period of time for a couple of days around the tent, and that will allow us to close the tents at night and protect them from the rain and any other security issues that we have.
Before, I have a question to Eric. Are
Eric,
you with me, Eric?
Yeah, right.
I want to know does this run into any problems with the DPW, with the extra tents, the extra time? I know they do work. I just want to make
It would
sure.
probably just be scheduling to make sure the grass cut, everything's done before the tents go up, or we're gonna have to wait for afterwards. So it'll probably just be communication with Woodstock in my office to make sure that people, like the tents went up, the grass is cut, or they'll wait another week.
Okay. The second thing is, if the tent is blocking the pathway, are we involving ourselves in any sort of ADA issue?
It's blocked the pathway in the past.
I know, but I'm just bringing up the question, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Because we need to bring up the question.
Right. Well, during the day, maybe
I know,
right
but
through.
in the evening, I'm bringing up the question because we need to be thoughtful about that. And I just.
I'd want to look into that before I say anything publicly.
Okay.
And I can.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so Eric, we'll give you a map. We'll give you a map of exactly where the tent will be. We have it pretty close, but we don't have it precisely. And I think, to get Lisa's question, we want to know, not to within the inch, but within the foot or two of where the tent is going to be. And we can lay that out for you so that you can then investigate and answer her question.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Yeah. Good point. And date wise, so if the
May-
15th Friday,
Yeah.
go up on that Wednesday or Thursday?
Correct. I don't know. They haven't scheduled it yet, but it could go up as early as Wednesday and it would be removed as late as Tuesday. Once we get, but the path would only be blocked from Friday to Sunday, because when the tent is set up, we'll leave it open. So the path, you can walk right through the tent to get to and the path will be just inside the tent instead of just outside the tent. From Friday to Sunday, if you wanted to bypass the tent rather than walking right through it, you just move a few feet over and walk along the grass or roll a wheelchair or something along the grass. I understand that I don't think that will prevent, that will make it difficult. Unlike last year when it was difficult because you couldn't fit it and there were ropes and so forth. This way, there's going to be 20 or 30 feet of width to transit through that will be unobstructed by anything we put up. But anyway, Eric will check that out and determine it. If that doesn't work, we'll either have to leave the tent open or we'll have to change the tents, which I hope yeah.
Okay, so I think for that piece, since we need to look into the ADA and get the sizing and all that, we'll table just that piece. Again, we can approve things and then come back and, add.
Okay.
The
last piece is we plan to experiment, which I think will be useful for the town and also for Bookstock, with 3 or 4 restrooms that are actual sort of restrooms, like the kinds of things you would have at a fancy wedding, which is enclosed in a trailer. But and I don't think we need permission for that, but we have to park it somewhere. And what we're proposing to do is to park it, if you're standing on the green and looking at the library and then you move to your right and you're looking at the courthouse, there's a little bit of the parking lot, which is right up against whatever that street is between the courthouse and the inn. There's a little bit of the parking lot that's visible from the green, and it's as far away from the courthouse and the library as you can get and still be in that parking lot. And we'd like to park it from Friday morning till Sunday night, or possibly Monday morning. Oh, no, I think we can arrange to get it out Friday night if the parking is needed on Monday morning. But we need permission to park there. I think it will take up, I'm just imagining it will take up 3 spaces or 4 spaces, probably 4 spaces.
So we're currently in conversation with the library.
So you currently have the lease through this year?
We have the lease
Yeah, so
through what? Till when?
Through, I believe, through June. I'll double check.
Okay, so as long as we have the lease through June, then that means that we can manage it. And if the courthouse is going to be done in February, we should have that space.
Correct.
Okay, that was my.
By the way, I understand one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one reason we're doing these bathrooms is because a piece of Bookstock is going to take place in the library, and they have concerns about their bathroom capacity. And so they will be happy to have, they were very happy when we told them that they'll be able to direct people, out the back of their building if they need to for a nice restroom facility. They just don't want it right behind them. So we put it, and also you can't see it. You can't see it if you're on the green, whereas this way we can actually point to it and say, the restrooms are in Town Hall, the restrooms are in the Welcome Center, and the restrooms are right across the street. And we think it's also, by the way, just as an aside, I think it's useful for the town to know how this operates, what it costs, and whether or not people have a good experience with that, as opposed to porta potties, which are cheaper and perform the same function, but might not be as good of an experience. So we'll learn something from that. We're willing to fund that learning.
If I could quickly, sorry.
Yeah, please.
So agreement is through June 2026. That's all set.
Okay,
But if the chair remembers, we had some concerns from both parties actually in the parking spots because of people coming in and sweeping in. So John, we may want to have a conversation about that, of the safety. If the trail is in the actual parking spots, there's not a lot of room between where the trailer will be and where people will be standing to get there, and then people pulling in coming from the admin building, turning in, we not see people. So we had concern in the past of how to make that safer for everyone. So it could be a larger conversation, just cones or signage, or maybe even closing the parking lot down completely, for safety reasons.
Seems more doable than our problem in the past though, because we're not gonna be at the in end. I mean, what John's proposing won't be at the in end.
It will be at the end.
No, it'll be a little further in where it's, I thought
I
it was still
understand.
between. the
No, I think it's on the
We're-
end.
In the library.
Where
We're
we-
talking about, yeah, we're talking about parking it, well, as far away from the library while still in the parking lot as is feasible. I don't think,
Put it at the very, near the end.
Yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood.
but if we can't put it at the very end, we'll move it in until, wouldn't moving it in some amount solve the problem, the concern you have?
Yeah, absolutely. And that might be a conversation in the library if they're willing to trade their spots for reserve spots closer to the streets. That could be an easy trade-off.
Yeah.
Because I think that spots are the ones furthest down in the parking lot. So if they'd be willing to give up those reserve
We can
spots.
give ours to them
Correct.
during this
Yeah.
event. Yeah, I bet they're doing.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah.
All right, I'll speak to the library about that and we'll get the exact dimensions. I'm sorry, we don't have them yet, but we'll get the exact dimensions. And again, I think they would like to have additional restroom capacity so it doesn't place, they have a legitimate operating concern when we send 65 people into the library all at once and, they have one restroom. So and they have customers that aren't just ours. So we're trying to help them solve that. So I'm sure we can work this out.
Yeah. So we could, until those conversations, we can table that piece as well.
Okay.
Okay, what else is on or anything else?
That's all we had.
Okay. So then we're looking at the original permit with the dates. So we're really just talking about,
Well,
The
you
original-
haven't technically, you haven't issued the permit.
I know that's what I'm talking about, that it's the original permit that you gave us. I'm trying
Right.
to, what we're.
The
what
original
we're-
application, yeah.
So what we're not voting on is, that's probably easier. What we're not voting on is the big 80 by 30. We'll table that until we get more information. We're not voting on the bathrooms yet because there needs to be a conversation with the library. So what we're voting on is,
We're not voting on unknown vendors.
yeah, we're not voting on unknown vendors. Are we voting on the tent setup dates? That would be 13 through 19 potentially. That's a lot of time.
There's nothing on the calendar right now for those dates. So we
Okay.
could block out for them.
Yeah, so let's include that.
So we are voting on May 10, 13 through 19 would be the days of putting up and bringing it down with the understanding that the tent is only closed, Friday night, Saturday night, and then it'll be cleared out Sunday night. Is that correct?
Well, no, it'll be clear. Yes, it will be cleared out by Sunday night. You'll be able to easily walk through it by Sunday night. There'll be some tables in the corner, but we will take all of our stuff will be out and we're going to disassemble all the tables. So yes, you'll be able to walk through it. Won't be completely empty. But then the tent company, which is also the table company, is going to pick up their stuff by the end of Tuesday. Well, let's say.
So it's just Friday during the day, Friday nights, Saturday during the day, and Saturday night that people can't get through.
No, they can get through during
Well-
the day.
But yeah,
Right, they can only.
No, on Sunday, no, sorry, the book sale, no, it's Sunday through about 1 or 2 o'clock. We scheduled it this past year, we closed the book sale at 2 o'clock, and it takes us about 2 hours or 3 hours to empty the tent. But people will be able to walk through within 15 minutes of after we close the book sale. Someone will be able to walk through from one end to the other. We're just going to be lots of people there moving books and moving tables, but the path will be available by mid-afternoon on Sunday. If
Okay,
that-
and did you turn in your COI yet?
we sent you, I think we sent you the 20, well, sorry, we sent you you have our 2025 COI. We don't get the 2026 one until the first week in January or so. We're on a calendar year, so we will submit that to you. It's the same insurance company and the same coverage. It's going to be expanded this year to take into account the chamber, and I don't know that that's going to change anything or not. We're going to ask them that. We're in conversations with them, but we haven't gotten an answer yet.
If the tents are gonna be up, then the COI needs to be from the 13th through the 19th.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, trustees, do you have any other questions about this? Or concerns about this? Are there any citizen comments about this permit before we vote? Any citizen comments online before? we vote?
I just want to thank them for bringing back Woodstock. That'd be great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for considering all of this. I think it's it's great that you're being flexible about this. Thank you.
Okay, so then I make a motion to approve the Woodstock permit for the 13th through the 19th with food and music and book sales. Anything outside of that, come back to us and give us updates.
Well, and literary vendors, like an author, for example, would be an example. You know, we have a number of authors who may want to come.
Okay, literary accoutrement is what we'll call it. And then we are tabling the tent size and location and the bathrooms during Bookstop. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, guys. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you very much. Take care. All
You're gonna be in the office on Friday, right?
I will be, yes.
Do you want to meet before or after that meeting to kind of run through the outstanding stuff here?
Yes, that'll be fine. Let me send you an email when I get home, but I think I can, yes.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Do you have a banner? Oh, John, do you have a banner permit?
He does.
I believe we do have a banner permit, yes.
We already approved that?
It's on the calendar, so maybe you already
Yeah.
did.
I think we did.
Okay. Okay, well, it's not on the agenda, so. So then that moves on to banner permits. The first one is from Pentangle with the variety of banners. Is there anyone from Pentangle?
Well, you should talk. You tell me what it's about.
What do they have here?
It's for Myra Flynn, Mudstock, Twilight Thar, whatever MBTR is for February 6th through 13th, April 20th through 27th.
Those are events that we have planned through the first 6 months.
Oh, yeah, you just handed it down. So would you like to come up and tell us who you are?
Stuart Matthews from Woodstock, I guess.
Okay.
These are the dates of events that we have planned through the end of August, and these would be the banners that we put on the green to publicize these events.
Right?
Do we have state?
I have a question, story about the Music by the River. It states July 6th through 13th and August 3rd through 10th. But are you not going to be doing it July 6th to the end of August?
I think we are, although I don't know why those dates would gap. We're running the first one just before the 4th of July, but that's with a separate group, and then we run them through the middle of August. So I'm not sure why there's a gap in the dates.
Maybe we should just approve the ones that are earlier.
Yeah, why don't we just approve
Let's just,
at least the February one, and we'll
Yeah.
come back to you.
He's double checking to make sure that there's space.
Okay.
Eric is doing, because it's the first come, first serve.
So, Eric, it's just February 6th to 13th.
Well, if it's first come, first served, I guess,
Yeah, we
can I
can go
request
ahead
we
and
go
do the
through
6th.
June and
Yeah.
they should approve
Yeah,
these
we
and if
can
there's
do
other
these
dates, we'll,
too.
Yeah, yeah. fine.
Yeah.
if there's other dates, we'll.
But he's double checking.
Okay,
Yeah, Kitty already has these on the calendar, so
Okay.
it's there,
Okay.
so it's good.
and do we have a fee? This doesn't say that the application is paid.
We can double check with that, but you can prove it with the,
Pending,
yeah.
okay.
I
Okay,
think it was nothing for a waiver, but I don't know.
I don't think so.
okay, trustees, do you have any questions for the unsuspecting Stuart Matthews?
So we're just doing the first three.
No,
Well, why don't we do the ones that apply?
do all
and
5.
We'll,
Oh, okay.
if
And
they
if they
need
wanna
something
add
in the
more,
middle,
they
they'll
If you
come
wanna-
back.
If you want to come back for the others.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any public comments on the banner permit request? Okay, I would make a motion that, pending the receipt of a $50 application fee, that we approve, the permits as requested February 6th, April 20th, June 22nd, and July 6th, and August 3rd.
Are you asking $50 per banner or $50 overall? Just your motion was just a little unclear, so I'm sure.
Oh, I mean, we do it per permit, don't we?
Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So, so your motion just said $50.
Yes.
$50, so I just wanna-
yes. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Thank you very much.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Good job.
Good job.
Although I think you can hold out the 50.
Jeffrey, can you take the next one?
Oh, yeah.
I had so many questions for this next.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a map?
Just a banner permit.
Okay, so the next one up is, the Pride of Woodstock, weekend. And
Tell us all about your.
June 1st to June 8th for the banner. So starting off with the banner permit.
That's the only permit I have submitted so far.
Okay, and the fee is paid, and so there's no conflict for that date.
Correct.
Okay, so I would make a motion to approve the banner permit.
I second.
Oh, okay.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye. That permit's approved.
Oh, thank you very
But-
much.
but, Since you're here, do you want to know a little about Pride and what you guys are doing this year?
Love to tell you about Pride. So Pride this weekend, or this 2026, our 3rd year, very exciting. Oh, my name is Steve McElroy and I live in the Village. I'm the co-founder and co-chair of Pride of Woodstock with Gabe DeLeon. And so it'll be the 6th or 7th this year. We've got new people on our committee, which is very exciting, new energy coming up. So we will once again be doing the high heel race, the reception over, the Friday night reception over at the inn outside. They'll be hosting us. The drag brunch over at the inn, which is very exciting. We will do the Made with Pride Arts and Crafts Fair on the green. Usually we do a daytime dance. First year we did it at the East End. Last year we attempted to do it at the Unitarian Church, but it rained, so we did it at the Little Theater. And what we discovered was people just weren't traveling very much. So what we've decided to do this year, and I will be coming back soon with a use of the green permit request, is we're going to do the dance on the green at the same time as the craft fair. So we will have DJ Sarah Yetter, who is from Abracadabra, set up under a tent and playing music. And so that means everybody during the day, as you're doing your craft fairs, you're doing your shopping, after the high heel race, before the drag brunch, people can go and dance and have a good time on the green. And then we will be doing at least one nighttime dance over at the Little Theater.
So have we done the permit yet?
We have not,
We have not.
No.
So that's the.
these are the ideas.
These are the ideas. And is that the same, that, you moved it into June further than it has?
Let me see, the first year it was the same weekend as Covered Bridges, then last year we moved it, so now it's about the same weekend. as
Same
it was.
weekend as Covered Bridge.
No, it's not
No,
the same weekend.
It's not. Oh,
It's the 6th and 7th
okay.
next year. I think Covered Bridges is the weekend before,
Okay.
I think.
Man,
Yes, I think so.
all right.
We sort of go with the Woodstock Inn's schedule because they heavily subsidize us, which is very nice of them.
Great. we'll see when you
Yes.
come back for that.
Yes, absolutely. I gotta do my maps and all.
Maybe even sooner.
I paid my $50. I'd like if I paid my $50.
Good, we're gonna on a finance office. I'll collect.
Got the $50 right there.
Well,
Right. Okay, thank you, Jeffrey. Next is the parking ordinance schedule of fees. Lisa, do you wanna?
Yeah, this is, we passed the parking ordinance itself, at our last meeting. This is the schedule of fees. The parking fees, we recommended some increase in fees. To put ourselves more in line with other towns and cities in our area. We're probably still one of the lower charges. Metered parking will go to $1.50 an hour. Permit parking on Elm Street, 6 hours, $70 per quarter calendar year. We're not changing the post office, 25 cents. Library and Mechanic Street parking permit goes to $285 per quarter, $1,140 per year, and construction permits is $12 per day. These fees have not been changed in at least 15 years, if by 15 to 20 years, and this is appropriate. It's an increase of an average of 50%. So we're going from $1 to $1.50 for an hour. This will help pay for things like parking meters and other things. They're expensive and they're getting more expensive. So we don't want to put this onto the citizens of the village. We'd like to have this self-sustaining so we can take care of it. In the perfect of all worlds, would have an 8-story parking garage. I have a spot picked out, not going to happen. So this is what we feel is fair and reasonable.
How about a 2-story?
What?
We said 2, but Wendy wanted really 8 stories. so-
Yeah, I think it was 8 that she wanted, but
It's gonna be in her backyard.
yeah,
That's where it's gonna be,
right next to the covered bridge.
right?
But anyways, we feel this is fair and reasonable, and well within what the other communities in our area. Hanover is unbelievable with their fees, but, we feel this is fair and reasonable, and the majority of our parking fees, so everyone here knows, is from our visitors and not from the people who live here. Anyways, it just needs to be comments.
If I can make just
Yeah.
clarification point, so right now the fees are written in the ordinance. The new ordinance we voted on, took the fees out of the ordinance, so this will only go into effect once the new ordinance goes into effect.
We don't have to wait 60 days.
Okay.
And the new ordinance goes into effect January 16th.
I believe so, yes.
When would this go into effect?
Once the new ordinance goes into effect.
January 16th, we signed it November 16th, so. it'll be
January 16th, okay.
Trustees, do you have any questions? I know we've gone over this a million times, but questions? Is there any public comment on this before we vote?
How much was it on Elm Street? I'm sorry, I missed that.
$70 per quarter.
That's for the,
He's one of the people that do it.
oh, okay, yeah,
But so if you still park for 2 hours, it's pretty better.
yes, that
Yeah.
has not changed.
But the option of parking for 6 hours, if you find a spot, is $70 per quarter.
Any other questions or comments on that? Okay, I would make a motion to approve the Village Woodstock parking schedule of fees as presented. Is there a second?
No, Jeffrey, second.
Third.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Where are we? Next is the Forest Canopy Grant request from the Village Conservancy. Is that you? Wendy?
Wendy Spector, the village.
Okay.
So we had a conversation with Eric. We didn't actually put this on the agenda, so we're a little bit unsure of the status of this. However, as you know, this is a project that we are interested in doing, and we're waiting for our letter of support before moving ahead. We did get a message from Abby Sherman letting us know about this grant, which we actually knew about, but we're excited that we were working with her on this. So Betty Ann McGuire, who is our development person, grants writer, has actually drafted something, but we were not sort of prepared to move ahead because we didn't have a letter of support, so we didn't know, like, you know, who we would be working with on this. So not exactly sure what you all think is happening, but we are prepared to move ahead. You know, however you'd like us to move ahead.
So I'd say my thought process is both boards are still working on that letter of support and fleshing that out. But you can give them the approval, because it has to go through the town to vote. So you could vote to apply for the grants as a municipal body. If something blows up and you don't come to agreement with the service, you don't have to accept the grant when it comes through, but this will allow us to get the grant ready to apply for the grant, and then be prepared to have it if you guys will reach an agreement.
And I think the deadline is January 30th.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a time crunch. Yeah, so Betty Ann has already drafted something which would go, as Eric said, under your name. You would have to fill in a certain number of things that, you know, that from the town's perspective. But we're kind of prepared to move ahead as soon as you all are ready.
Question, I mean, I think it's great, and a wonderful idea. Putting these trees in, I noticed the different size being considered, and we need to consult the tree warden and all of that. And the way these are planted, in order to plant another tree, you can't just take that tree.
Correct.
And you're leaving the sidewalk.
Right,
intact.
yeah, right.
This is really disruptive to the sidewalk.
Yes,
And that expense has to be figured in.
it is included in the budget.
And,
yes.
and the timing.
Yep, all of it is included in the plan, which when we present it to you, it will be complete. When you apply for the grant, there is a section where you have to put in the budget, the timing, all the, you know, people consulted, businesses, etc. So you'll have a more complete picture of the actual plan. But yes, there's been a lot of learning in the state about urban tree health. And the sidewalk would have to come up so that the tree well were large enough to accommodate the health of that plant. The plan is to then re-concrete or put in grates around the tree so that there's room for the roots to grow. And also for, infiltration of water, etc. And the tree warden has already been consulted with, so we know what caliper and what types of trees we're going to be proposing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's important.
Trustees, do you have any questions for Wendy on this?
Oh, the only question I had was, when you do the application, you do have to, I'm worried about when the adjoining landowners are gonna find out, but that's within the application process.
Well, so the application for the grant is one thing. Then a separate issue will be how the town manages the DPW's, participation and all that.
I'm thinking more about the village business.
Yeah. So this is an application for the money.
Okay.
It's not,
Fine.
right, permission to do the planting.
Okay. I've got one question. The grant, is a matching grant? Where's the matching money?
Well, we would raise the money, the Conservancy would raise the money.
You already started.
Susie already.
Frank, do you have any questions on it?
Joe or Stuart, do you want to add anything?
Or just that we're not removing any trees, these are all trees that have been cut on the guy or that.
Yeah.
So we're just voting on saying, go ahead.
Going to apply for the grant.
Okay. Then I would make a motion to allow Woodstock Conservancy to apply for.
Well, really to help the
Oh,
town,
to help the town, yes, to help the town,
That's the village.
the village.
help the village
The village
apply for
applies,
the grant.
yeah.
Got it?
That's it. You-
So
No?
it's as simple as that the village will apply for this
the
grant.
village-
Okay.
yeah.
Then I would make a motion that the village should apply for the forest canopy grant. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just need to sign that.
Oh, yeah.
If I can make one point, I realize that the budget update's not on the agenda, so can we go do that under other business?
Yeah.
Anyone here to talk about Russell?
Sure.
Yeah, the next item on the agenda is a wassail update. Do we have anybody to discuss?
See anyone, so I can give what update what I know.
Okay.
I think we're very robust horse parade scheduled so far. Friday night's gonna be the walk from East End Park down Fire. Norm seems happy with the location for where the parade's been set up so far, pending a much bigger storm than we're expecting. So all signs are good, so hopefully it'll
Okay.
go well. We're calling in, we're working with two officers from the sheriff's office to make sure we have extra security and extra people just in case. We're expecting a big crowd, so we want to make sure we have full coverage, so we're doing that as well.
As long as they pick up the poop.
Yep, also, we have a public works employee on staff all day long, kind of work with the trash barrels, and we have
Excellent.
a dumpster over by the village garage, so we can just pick up and dump throughout the day rather than having trash barrels overflow as they normally do usually around the parade time.
Wonderful.
And will that person, since it's on a weekend, will that be in overtime? Okay. Can you keep track of that? Anything that's,
Greg Fulton already is.
okay, of course he is. Okay. That sort of brings us, I'm sorry, are there any other questions or comments, concerns about wassail? Any public comments about wassail? Show up at wassail, buy Rotary tickets from me, no one else. I'll be there 2 o'clock. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is mine and I am delayed on it, but I'll start the conversation and then next during budget, we can pick it up. We've long talked about the police detail when it's used, when the police are used overtime for events, whether it's wassail, whether it's Pride, whatever it is, we are paying the overtime rate, which is $50 an hour for a minimum of 3 hours. So if you have one officer, even if it's just for an hour, that's costing $150. There are some organizations that pay for that themselves. Pride of Woodstock, we spent $1,600 last year on officers. The Covered Bridges Half Marathon pays for theirs. I think the Eastern States Cup that Wamba does, they pay for theirs. But there are organizations that don't pay. Obviously, Wassail does not pay. The Alumni Parade, the Memorial Day Parade, Taste of Zach's Place, Taste of Woodstock. None of them pay for the extra police that are there. And that is a discussion we've been wanting to have, and hopefully next time we talk with us, I'll have numbers. But it's something that is paid for by village taxpayers. And so if that's something that the taxpayers think is a good use of funds, then that's fine. But if you're looking at something that, you know, again, Pride was just for a couple of hours, $1,600, whatever that number is for all of those other events, are you okay with that? Are we okay with that? And so, you know, start sort of thinking about those things. And it's not a definite, we're making people pay or we're not, but it's a conversation we need to have because things are expensive and the budget is scary.
How much is it? All of it. You talked about the ones that don't pay. They would calculate how much that is.
That I'm getting those numbers, so I'll be able to talk about that next time. Roger, come on up.
Just a question and maybe a point. How has it been decided in the past who does and does not pay? Is it just you offer?
No, it predates me, so I don't know where it started.
It's been kind of random. Some of the biggest events in the past, we just said it's for the community, and so we didn't ask for it to be paid for like Wausau. Yeah, it's a very good point that the way things have changed. I think it might be an appropriate time to have organizations pay for the extra that wouldn't be there otherwise.
I mean, I'm a broken record on this, obviously, but from my perspective, anything that's done ad hoc is open to confusion at best.
Mhm.
So I think I think it should be paid for. The only thing I would say is if there are organizations that can be seen to have kind of a broad civic good and they just really would have trouble getting the money together, then you might have a scholarship program or something, but in general, I would say it's a good conversation to start, and I encourage you to essentially standardize everything as much as is possible. Thank you.
Yeah, and my apologies for not having the numbers. I will have,
You don't have that number tonight, right? See how much it costs?
no, I don't have those numbers.
I think with the turkey trot, we estimated to be 1,000 or 1,100, for coverage of turkey trot. About 1,100, turkey trot that happened 2 weeks ago.
So that's $1,100 worth of, from the village budget. And so we'll talk about what we think about that. But that's why I was asking you about the overtime, because if that's the town budget, but
Correct.
that's money that's taxpayer money to spend to clean up trash cans. And if we're okay with that, we're okay with it.
I appreciate you opening the conversation.
Yeah. So we will table that, the rest of that. Parking ordinance amendment. So as most people I think know, we passed a parking ordinance, the updated parking ordinance for the course of 9 months. We had multiple meetings. Lisa almost lost her mind.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
But we thank you. But like all good things with a lot of effort, some things were brought to our attention afterwards that we missed. And so I want to thank the folks from Ford Street who had some concerns and they were nice enough to bring it to our attention. We've had multiple email conversations. Lisa and I sat down with, I'm sure there are 12 of you the other day. And from Ford Street talking about their use of the street. And so we've got an amendment that we've talked about. And then we found a couple of little items that we just missed when we edited. One of the things that changed in the ordinance, and we've got this for the students if you want it. Oh, it's not that one, it's the other one. We had made Ford Street, no parking, for a couple of different reasons, but, once that was brought to light, some of the residents on Ford Street had some concerns. So we spoke with them and, we would like to amend, or I'm proposing an amendment to replace the line where it says that the entire roadway is no parking and change it to the entire east side of the roadway so that there would be parking on one side and no parking in the other. Our concern,
East side being no parking.
oh, yes, yes, that's, yes.
That's what you meant. You didn't-
Yeah, yes, yes. Yes. It's worded weird, but I'll make sure that's clear. So that our biggest concern was, being able to get emergency vehicles up the street. That's our concern with everything. And with cars on either side, that was going to be a challenge. And so, this is our way to make sure that there is access for the people that live there, but also to get the emergency vehicles through. So trustees, do you have?
Yeah, I think we had a great conversation with you guys. We heard from you. Originally, my thought process was all 3 streets, Charles, Slayton, Ford, have pretty similar issues, the hill, but looking at the street and understanding your needs, one side will work perfectly. 2-sided would interfere with the width of some of the trucks, so we worked it out. I thought we did a great compromise, but it isn't written yet because we have to write it and then we have to run it by the lawyers. So, that's basically what.
Yeah. Frank, Jeffrey?
No problem.
Thank you for coming to us.
Yeah.
I do want to mention that.
Yeah, Amy, did you want to make a comment?
Sure.
Yeah, come on up and give us your name.
Name,
And how do you spell your last name, correctly or incorrectly?
I spell my name the most preferred way for McElroy, which has an E and not an I.
Sir McElroy.
Don't put that in the minutes. My name is Amy McElroy. I live at 5 Ford Street. When the
residents, and I think everyone was in agreement, heard that there was gonna be no parking on our street. We were kind of upset. There are a few of us where that really causes a hardship. And so we really appreciate that, that it's being considered that we can have an amendment to this. Seaton and Lisa were very nice to meet with us. And I wanted to also add, my husband, Mark McElroy, would like to have been here, but he's up in the Northeast Kingdom and the network service provider has given out, and it's going on 2 days now. And so he couldn't attend by Zoom, but he would be here otherwise. And he also supports the amendment that's being proposed for our street. And if you have any questions about it, I'm here. For anybody.
Question.
Okay.
No, we're just happy you came.
Yes, thank
This is
you.
what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
Yeah, and like, let me call out the good people of Ford Street. This is obviously always a collective thing. We certainly realize that, I mean, I love that you all are here tonight, but this is not normal. So thank you for being here. But if there's something that you're concerned about, you know, even if it's late in the process, like come talk to us, because we want to get this right. And we want to do the best we can. So if you see something that's wrong or something that you have a different opinion about, you know, please always call, email, text, stop me when I'm walking the dog. I've got the biggest dog in the village. Yes, no, I know you do. So yeah, this was, and I told them this was like a great democracy in action meeting. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
listening to us, and I hope it turns out that we get the amendment.
Yes. So the amendment is to make it no parking on just the east side of the roadway. And then I noticed as we went through, we just needed to remove under no parking. We need to remove Benson Place because Benson Place is now Frost Mills and it is private, so we need to take that off our list. And then on, let me see, what else? Under enforcement procedures, we need to remove Border Lane. And then we need to add Gulf Street Extension, because we have Gulf Street, but not Gulf Street Extension. And Eric, I can give this to you. So I'm just asking that everybody sort of tell me if you agree with these things, and then Eric can work them in and then give us the exact language, and then we can vote on that. And again, it would be a 60-day for the amendment.
But we would ignore. I mean, if it gets passed.
No.
so that's gonna
But
go-
do you want us to vote on just telling you to go forward to work with the lawyer? Okay. Okay, awesome. Any public comments about this before we move on to the next thing?
I would note that another Ford Street member is attending
Oh.
us, and
Okay, Mary Ann.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Next item on. Somebody, oh, okay, night y'all. Next item on the agenda is the Village Historic Preservation Commission. Come on up here and give us your names, please.
Our third is just arrived at the airport, so isn't able to be with us. So I'm Isabel Bradley.
No, I'm Isabel.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm Wendy Marinan, village resident and member of the Village Historic Preservation.
And I'm a village resident too. The Woodstock Village Historic Preservation Commission was established by the Woodstock Village Trustees in 2022 with the appointment of Philip Newberg, Wendy, and myself as its members. It was certified by the State Historic Preservation Office, SHPO, which is part of the National Park Service. Our primary function is to promote the preservation of historic resources within the National Register Historic District of Woodstock, and to encourage education and awareness of these resources. As a CLG, or Certified Local Government Organization, we are also empowered to seek grants for appropriate projects from funds earmarked for this purpose by the State for Historic Preservation Office. Recognizing the long overdue need for clearer architectural and preservation guidelines to assist the now former Design Review Board members in their evaluation of renovation and new construction applications within the Design Review District. The Woodstock Village Historic Preservation Commission submitted an application for a grant in 2025 from SHPO CLG funds. Unfortunately, the grant process was very competitive and our grant was not awarded. This was largely due to the fact that we had not been able to offer a municipal funding match as part of our proposed budget for the project. So that's an introduction as to who we are. Do you have any questions for us? So I'll ask Wendy to go on with more of the budget part of things.
So we're here today to give you a heads up. We're not asking for specific signatures or votes or anything. A heads up on our goals for the next grant cycle in 2026. So as you know, a lot of changes in DC have affected federal monies. And so the cycle is somewhat delayed. We're told by the SHPO office. So this is money that comes from the National Park Service that gets sent to the state, and then the state distributes it through application process to the local certified governments, which we are, thanks to your help a few years ago, as mentioned. So this money is hopefully being, they tell us, being announced in mid-January. And hopefully a grant application will be due in mid-March. That's a sketch of what we're looking at. We are hoping to resubmit a similar grant application for this similar goal, which is to create, get consultant help. This money that we're accessing is not bricks and mortar money. It's education and public enhancement and policy money. So we're hoping to do the same grant application towards design guidelines with a similar matching concept, 60-40. That's their requirement. 60% of an estimate of a grant budget application comes from the National Park funds, 40% comes from the municipality. And last cycle, we did the 40% with your blessing and with the support of Eric's in-kind donations. So the feedback, to clarify what Isabel was saying we like better, or a better combination. So we wanted to give you a heads up on that. I know we know this is a very tight budget planning process. We're wondering about, and we will go to the appropriate meeting to put in a request. We're wondering about your support for the project in general, design guidelines. Again, you don't have to answer. We're giving you kind of a introduction explanation of where we're at. And we did hear support for this idea actually from the Planning Commission themselves in terms of guidelines that would enhance our regulations in terms of guidance for property owners, zoning administrators, and boards. So that's our goal for 2026. We've done some local research with getting in, guesstimates on what we might ask for, and we're coming in around 35,000, 40,000 for a whole grant. So we would be looking to come up with a 40% piece around 14,000, 15,000 from the municipal level, so that our grant can be perceived as stronger, or our application can be perceived as stronger. Listening to the Conservancy's presentation, and I am certainly familiar, as you know, with nonprofit administration, we would like to guidance on how, we're appointed by the municipality, by you guys. So I don't know about the private fundraising piece. So at another time, if you have insight on how we could help with that for the municipality be able, for the village to say, we have this money because we're open to that effort too. Let's see. I think that covers the
Well,
goals for this year.
There's money on the table and, if we can, that would be helpful, really helpful for all of us here. And it seems a shame to just leave it there, when, all we need is to make our push
Right.
towards it.
And-
Grant is out there
I mean,
for
Phil-
these
yeah.
purposes.
Phil's quote was, was it forever a bridesmaid, never a bride? We're hoping to be the bride if we keep showing up with putting it, but anyway, so there will be more coming from us, but we wanted to give you this background. When in a budget meeting, we make a suggestion or a request, it's not out of thin air. That piece, and then did you want to finish?
Well, part of our public education piece that we're doing, we're spearheading a series of articles in the Standard on some of the historic properties here. And we've had approval already from the editor. And we use accredited photo and obviously, ask homeowners before doing it. And we're looking forward to our first article, which is coming up entitled Still Standing. I think it's fascinating for all of us to know the history of some of the houses, who's lived in them, and fascinating stories around them. We're lucky to live in a place like that.
So just to clarify, this would be a series of very more like a vignette, a photo. This is how it's been proposed to the Standard, a photo and a paragraph with the architectural relevance. We're to educate. Someone will say, oh my gosh, my house looks like this. I didn't know, whatever, and some of the stories about the people, or of note, what might have happened in that house. So it would be just 2 paragraphs. It's not like an exhaustive article. It's more like a series. So we would title each of them, it's the Still Standing series, and then the particular house. And we did want to give you, we have to get some in the bank, as she said, Hunter said, before it starts running. So we're doing the research phase, but we wanted to see that there's support in the concept like this in the local paper from us. We would be writing it. The editors would just be, cleaning it up, but we're the right authors.
And the education piece is very important to Chabot, because
Right,
so that
part of our assignment.
the fact that we would do something like that might push our grant over the edge this year, which would be nice.
So that's our presentation. I have a written outline.
Oh, great.
So you have for your packet, if you want to reflect back.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, no, more of a heads up, and unless you have any more questions or concerns about what we've said. And anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah,
for your time.
absolutely.
Thank you.
You.
All right.
Thank you both.
Okay, and do you have can you email a copy of that to Kitty just so we can get it into the online packet?
Yes, and I'm sorry, we couldn't.
Oh, no, that's okay. No worries. Oh. Thank you on my paper.
Oh, yeah. Right.
All right.
It's all right. I'll look at the one. I
Wrote on my, no, maybe I have enough. Here it is. I thought I printed enough.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Oh, did you want to do budget?
I was gonna, under other businesses, we didn't add it earlier.
Okay, okay, then the next item is an executive session. So in accordance with 1 VSA 313, after making a specific finding that premature general public knowledge would clearly place the public body or a person involved in a substantial disadvantage. The appointment or employment or evaluation of a public officer or employee, provided the public body shall make a final decision to hire or appoint a public officer or employee in an open meeting and shall explain the reasons for its final decision during the open meeting. I move to go into executive session. Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank
Going
you
to
very much,
executive.
everyone.
Thank you. So much fun.
Michelle is afraid we're gonna talk about her.
Okay, we are. I need, like to make a motion to, or I make a motion to move out of executive session. Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And now budget.
Yeah, so business,
Oh, it's coming cold.
It's cold in here.
It was cozy in that little room.
Colder outside.
Oh. Yeah.
okay, so when we met last week, a few days ago, we talked about, after the department heads sent in their budget as requested, the village was at a 40% projected tax increase. We've been working over the last 2 days to work on this. Right now, we have basically a balanced budget at 29.5% tax increase. We're still working on trying to find ways to lower that, potentially find revenue. What I'll say for revenue side of it is, as I mentioned before, we have not included any potential parking fee revenue increase based on the fees you just voted on. A, because it's not codified yet, it would be when it's going to effect. B, it is a dangerous precedent to budget revenue that you can't ensure is going to come in. With that said, we've estimated that every 1% tax increase or decrease is about $7,700, give or take. So as you look to go from 29.5% down to 19.5%, you'll get about $100,000 in revenue to increase or expenses to decrease. You know, I will say, obviously, the majority of the budget. The other thing I will say too is, I don't know where the select board is going to fall on their town allocation for next year. I haven't had this conversation with them yet, so I don't know if they're happy with. Right now, we budget for this current year's allocation plus 3%, which has been kind of the norm. If the select board's okay with that, that's fine. If they want something different, that also impact your budget as well. Again, those conversations have not happened yet. Going through the police budget, there's not a lot of fat there. You know, Stephanie is involved this year, and she kind of asked that question. So we went through, I think, the operating supplies to the police department is like $15,000 for the entire year of a staff of 6 or 7. That's a paltry amount of money. So we're trying to look at things. We took away the 1 extra staff that finance asked for, so that's already gone. Trying to make some cuts on the IT side. The only real big thing on police is we moved the payments for the 2 current vehicles on the operating budget instead of capital reserves. And then we have, I think, about $25,000 in capital reserves for future vehicles to kind of build up. Besides that, we did not really have massive increases, a few $1,000s here or there. So that's what we're looking at. We'll keep working internally on trying to drill down on a close number, see if we can find revenue that we're more comfortable with increasing. But when you have a $1 million, $1.5 million budget, you know, $7,000 is 1%. And that's the reality of what we're living in right now. So I can send this to the board so you guys can look at it and take a look at where we're at. And we can schedule a meeting maybe the week after Christmas to kind of flesh out some more ideas and see where we're at internally. But I'll open up to comments or questions from the board now.
Well, I'll say right off the bat that 29.5% I think is totally unacceptable. I can't see when I look at, you know, inflation and then going above inflation. I can't see us going beyond 10%. And so I think there has to be more work on that for us to consider.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, this is not the budget I'm recommending, it's just where we're at after 3 days, as we last talked about it. I think it was Thursday with a joint meeting, today's Tuesday, so this is what we got, 2.5 days of working together.
What are you, what do you attribute, what has increased? Is it healthcare, salaries, both?
Salaries and healthcare are the massive drivers.
How much has
Also,
their healthcare gone up, do you know?
I don't have them in front of me, but I'm just gonna just take a look at something. We talk. You know, so last year, 84,000 for benefits. We're talking 104,000 this year, so $20,000 difference in what we're budgeting for benefits there. When it comes to salaries, we also have to remember that the police union's out of contract end of June, so we haven't started negotiating with them yet, but when we do, we have to allocate a certain amount of money to project for that expense when that comes down next year. So it's also part of this as well. You know, I'm happy to go through this. I mean, the contingency funds at $10,000, which is not a lot of money. You know, you're really talking about salaries and benefits. You know, even that, you know, for example, out of myself, Kitty, and Stephanie, the village is paying $83,000. You know, out of a probably $300,000-ish salary lines. I mean, it's not that much money in the grand scheme of things. That's not even like a full person. That's just kind of where we're at.
Well, you've given us something to think about. She'll send all this to us?
Yes. And for Jeffrey's point from Thursday, I tried to just show, and you see it here, and how big, I'll make it a little bigger. I just have the department request and then the administrator requested that I've done so far. And then over here, you kind of have the balance sheets. Look where we are. So just to give you an example, if you go all the way over to revenue projections and say we're 29.5, so let's say we go with Jeffrey wanted a 10% tax increase. The budget as it is right now, you'll get $150,000 deficits. So to get where we are now to where 10% would be either to cut expenses, raise revenue to offset $150,000 deficits. So that's how you can kind of play with it. And then there's one more thing. If anyone really wants to nerd out over the holiday break. The first tab, that department combined budgets, that is like the main sheets that will, any changes there flow across all 4 budgets. So if you were to, you know, fire me and cut my salary, you'll see that change in town, village, sewer, water. If you go through and add 1 police officer, you only see that it come up in the village one. So it kind of flows all through this one sheet. So you get a sense of, if you want to play with things, how to do it. And again, if you want to, again, nerd out, these 2 tabs at the end here, and again, I'll make this a little bit bigger. So revenue projection is basically what we're saying we're comfortable with projecting revenue for the year. This tab here, the tax rate, is where we have the potential tax increase.
Well, we don't have the extra money from the raise in parking meter.
Yeah, so if you go on here, this is kind of your parking meter and towns where the majority of the revenue comes from. On the side, you'll kind of have the average of the last few years. But if you go to 4-year averages and come down to the village, which is Fund 2, you can kind of look over the actuals and estimated. So you can see, like last year, we brought in $118,000 of credit card permitting. So you come over here, I have it at 115. So very similar to the high end from the year before. Again, let's go for another example of, moving violations, another one we talked about. It's been trending low the last few years. So instead of having a high one that we know we get to, I moved down to $18,000. Because we've been putting $35,000 in there, we never get there. So we're automatically creating a deficit for us to catch up on. So now it's $18,000. But again, if you move that to $35,000, your tax rate can go down 2% more. But you have to be sure that you get that money to come in. Again, this is the town budget with the assumption of a 3% increase over this current year. He's in at 1,200. So again, there's not a lot zoning at 35,000 right now. I think we're at 17,000. So again, that's trending to where we probably are with this year and last year. But again, if we go to zoning permits, last year at 32,000, year before 47,000. We're projecting 35, so kind of in between those two numbers in the last 2 years. I think the year before, interest really saved the village because we projected a very small interest number and interest rates were so high. We had some money come through. We earned more interest on that. That really helped with your on your revenue side. Interest rates are going down, or they were, so maybe not as high as before, but hopefully they will be.
Okay, so we'll study these. And
What'd you say, Jeffrey?
I said we'll study these and come back with suggestions and work jointly.
And we'll keep working internally. I mean, I understand. I've never said comfortably in front of village meeting and say, well, for a 30% tax increase unless it was absolutely necessary. I'm not saying it's necessary yet. I'm hoping we find more room for revenue expenses and get somewhere I feel comfortable advocating for, and hopefully you would too.
Okay, so you'll email that to us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is, I'm sorry, any other questions on budget, y'all? Approval of minutes?
Went through them twice.
Oh,
You couldn't.
Kitty is
He
so,
did it twice in a row, Jeffrey?
Yay!
I'm so happy for you, Kate.
You have to say you're proud of her.
Well done. I
Yeah.
am proud of you. That's
Oh,
wonderful.
editor.
And you're trying to lull me now.
Yeah.
So you think I'm not gonna look, I'm gonna keep looking.
She's gonna misspell your name. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for November 10th, 2025. Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Make a motion to adjourn. If there a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We are.
And then you didn't even let me say that.